Hey, what's going on YouTube? Jason Ramos here with Day Trading Fearless for another tips and tricks of how to trade the stock market. If you're here and you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and like. If you have any comments, leave them down below and I will answer them. So today we're going to talk about trading chart patterns. It's a big series that I'm doing of all these different chart patterns, and today we're going to talk about falling wedges. I did one a little bit ago on rising wedges. Today we're actually going to talk about falling wedges and ways to enter them, what to look for, tricks to kind of help you maybe see them a little cleaner and also make some money, okay, while you're doing this with your own trading. So let's get right to the charts. Okay, so before, when I did rising wedges, I used the same chart, okay? And I want to use the same chart for doing falling wedges because it's just a very good, clean chart for a lot of falling and rising wedges. So, what is a falling wedge? Okay, essentially it's a pattern that's going to look something similar to this, okay? And what happens is it's actually a bullish pattern. Price will actually go like this, right? It'll trade within this wedge, but it gets really, really tight, coiled up, and then all of a sudden it breaks out to the upside. Okay? So I could see probably about 3 or 4 really good ones, okay? And to see falling wedges, remember you're not going to see them right when they start happening. They're more of a type of trade that you see after the fact, that you see afterwards, okay? Hold on. Okay, so you're going to see them when they're about 50 or 60% filled out. Usually they're going to break out around the 75 to 80% is when the whole pattern, so like right here, when it's almost all the way done, right, is usually when you'll see the breakout happen, okay, to the upside on the falling wedge. You'll also want to use the RSI to potentially help you look for divergence and maybe a clue letting you know, hey, this thing may actually reverse because of divergence or something like that. So let's draw a couple of patterns, okay? Let's clear these off. And we actually have a really big rising wedge. Essentially right here. Actually, this would be more of a channel, okay, right here. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to draw it here, okay? Now, the reason I'm showing you this is actually a failed falling wedge. But see how price goes up? It comes down, right? And it gets tighter and tighter and the moves are smaller and smaller, and we're about 75%, right? Because if you go another 25%, you'd be at the edge. And normally you want to see price do this, but look what price did here. It actually broke down, okay? This is a failing falling wedge, just so you know. Okay, so I want to point that one out to you. So now let's do this. Here's another one, right? And here we could kind of see. Now this one's not going to be as perfect, right, where you have as many hits, but you see the breakout, okay? So usually think of it this way, right? A falling wedge, and you can even have drawn it here, but it's not going to be as clean. But a falling wedge is where you're just connecting highs and lows together, okay? But you're trying to find where it gets really narrow on the inside. So here's another one, potentially, right? So price goes, we rally, We come back down, rally, right? Come down, and then we break out to the upside. And look at that, right? So here's the thing. When you start to see the breakout, if you haven't seen my other videos, make sure you go see them, especially the one on breakouts, right? Because when you see something like this forming and you see a breakout, maybe you want to buy on the pullback and then the breakout, or is something very similar to this, right? So we break out, we pull back, and then you enter, okay? Here, you never actually got that breakout. It just kept going higher. So maybe you say, hey, if it breaks above these highs right here, okay, this is going to be my entry, and my exit is if it comes back down halfway into the channel, that's my exit, right? So kind of like I talk about in all my other videos, your risk is here, your potential reward is going to be way up here, right? So you're risking a little to make a lot on a lot of these trades that I'm teaching. So let's remove these. And let's kind of look for some more. Again, these are rising wedges. Here's another falling wedge. Okay, think of a falling wedge too, almost like it's a what's the word? Like a bull flag, right? Like a flag pattern or something, but where you're just connecting, right? Here's a wedge, and look for significant swing lows. You can even say that's one right there, right? That swing low to the swing high, down, bounce, and then it breaks out to the upside. I use this one, it has more hits here and here, if that makes sense, right? So this low bounced off here, and then one higher. So these are different ways to look for rising wedges. And here's another one. Okay, and this is more of a channel. Now, real quick, this is actually more of a flag, right? It's more of a flag versus a wedge, because think of what a wedge is, right? This is a wedge where it starts to get real tight. A channel is the same distance. So that actually would not be a rising wedge. Let's see if this one potentially could be. It's stretching it, but it could. But I think you kind of see the gist of it right here. Here's a rising or a falling wedge. Okay. And this is the one we just drew, right? Follow the lows down, swing low, swing low. Now, it broke out here. It came back down, went about halfway, and then it broke up. But again, it's getting choppy here, so it's not a very clean one. But a lot of times, if you actually look at the lows, right, you might be able to see divergence, or maybe on the RSI, like, hey, price is actually making a higher low, and so I kind of like it for that breakout or something like that. So use the RSI to kind of help gauge these, but also use the breakout. When it breaks out, maybe look for it to retest the trend line, and that's your entry. And if it gets about halfway back in or even blows through the other side, that's your exact stop loss. But remember, these trades are all about low risk, high reward, right? So you can risk maybe one to make two or three. So these are really, really good high probability trades that you could do. So I'm back here with you. I hope you enjoyed that quick little segment on falling wedges. Again, these are very, very good trades to look for. Low risk, high reward. You just need to train your eyes to see them. Go back, look at my other video, the one I did with the rising wedges, and tie the two together, and you'll start to be able to see them all over your charts, all different time frames. Now, they don't happen every single day, all the time, but you can find them, and they're very, very powerful. Just think of a rising wedge or a falling wedge is kind of like a bull flag, but instead of the channels being perfectly parallel, you'll actually see them start to kind of shape into a wedge itself. So again, if you're new, welcome. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, send any comments down below if you have any questions. Until my next video, I'll see you later.